Hey, what's going on, everybody? Coming to you guys again with another video, another movie review. And today I'm going to be talking about a movie that I actually had already planned on talking about. I was going to do this video in a pretty much like a future video, but I actually had a couple friends of mine request that I talk about this movie. I mentioned this movie in my first video that I posted, where I pretty much talked about what the channel was going to be about. When I talked about my 5 favorite movies, and this was the first movie on my list. So today, guys, I'm going to be talking about the infamous or famous, whatever you guys want to call it, Halloween, the original from 1978, directed by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance. So this movie, actually, before I talk about the movie, I just want to give a shout out to a couple friends who actually suggested that I talk about this. So I want to give a shout out to a couple friends I was deployed with back in 2015 to 2016, and that's my boy TJ Parker, my boy DeAnthony Rosser, my boy Brandon Alwine, and my boy Gianni Ochoa. Pretty much how I got into Halloween was hanging out with these guys, being deployed. Like I said, I had always known who Michael Myers was as a kid. I had seen Halloween H2O when I was probably like 10, 11. I had seen bits and pieces. I had also seen the infamous, and I mean infamous in a bad way, Halloween Resurrection, which is universally hated in the fandom. I've never met a person who said that Halloween Resurrection was a good movie. But pretty much, I had never watched a Halloween movie from start to finish, and I used to hang out with these guys whenever we would have downtime, whenever we had those days at work where there wasn't much going on, and we would watch the original, the 1978, and we would watch Halloween 2, and we would watch the Rob Zombie reboot that came out in 2007. And I don't really care for the reboot or the reboot sequel that much, but one of the things that me and my boys used to laugh about was there was a scene in Halloween, the reboot 2007, with it was a character called Joe Grizzly, and pretty much it was a funny scene because the guy was in the bathroom like taking a dump, and Michael Myers gets out of escapes from jail or wherever he was at, and pretty much goes into the stall, and they have a very funny altercation. It, to me, is one of the funniest scenes in any Halloween movie. Even though I don't like that movie, that scene alone is just, to me, it's iconic and it's funny. If you guys have never seen the scene, look it up. Halloween 2007, Joe Grizzly. Just look it up. It's worth the watch, you guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And my boys would tell you. I'm pretty sure they'll comment and they'll talk about how funny it is. But getting into the actual original Halloween from 1978. So the movie starts. I can't remember exactly, but I think it's 1963. It's been a little bit since I've actually watched Halloween from start to finish. I've really been watching more of the sequels in anticipation because I was deployed, and I didn't know that the Halloween Kills that was coming out this year got canceled. I mean, not canceled, got pushed back to next year. So I was watching all of the sequels in anticipation to that, and then unfortunately, due to the current world situations going on, it got pushed. So Halloween 1978 starts in 1963, and it's one of the most iconic opening scenes in any movie, not just a horror movie, because there's something about shots, like one take shots, that I think are just a work of art, a work of masterpiece, where pretty much it's like one continuous take, or it's shot as if it's one continuous take, without the jumping to the next scene or jumping to the next room or whatever the circumstance will be. So pretty much it starts in Halloween night 1963, and there's a young lady up in her bedroom, I think making love with a guy, boyfriend or something like that. He leaves, and pretty much it's all seen from the direction of like the camera or the character. So pretty much we see this person go and grab a knife out of the kitchen, put a mask on their face, go upstairs and proceed to stab to death this young lady. What we come to find out is that this is a 6-year-old Michael Myers who has just stabbed his sister Judith Myers to death. We don't know why. He just does it. And from the moment that Michael Myers is unmasked by his parents, that's when we come to understand that it's a child who has done it. So pretty much we fast forward 15 years to not like it's either Halloween Day or this the day before Halloween. I can't remember, you guys. It's been a little bit since I've seen the original, but pretty much we fast forward to Dr. Loomis, who is Michael Myers' psychiatrist, pretty much, and he basically has studied Michael Myers since Michael Myers was like 6 years old, since the murder. So he knows what he's dealing with. And Dr. Loomis, to me, is my personal, outside of Michael, Dr. Loomis is probably my personal favorite character in the whole Halloween franchise, because hats off to the late, great Donald Pleasence, who played Dr. Loomis in this movie and a couple of the sequels. What I've noticed is I love Halloween, and there's been a couple movies that are bad. The reboots I don't like. Halloween Resurrection, Halloween 5. Those are a few that I don't really like. And I don't really care for Halloween 6 either. And I talk about those when I do individual reviews. But after the passing of Donald Pleasence in the 1990s, all the Halloween movies, even the ones that I have enjoyed, there just feels like there's something missing. And I attribute that to the passing of Donald Pleasence, because Dr. Loomis is such an iconic character, and he's pretty much the protagonist outside of Laurie Strode. He's like the one character outside of Laurie who automatically knows in every movie when Michael escapes or Michael's rampage begins, he's ultimately trying to stop the evil of Michael Myers. He automatically knows that this guy is going to kill as many people as he possibly can. And Dr. Loomis is such a short guy, but he's like, he definitely is scared of Michael Myers in some of the movies, but he's ultimately out to stop Michael Myers. Like, he doesn't really care about his own well-being. He's always looking out for the city of Haddonfield. He's always trying to stop the rampage of Michael Myers. And the way that Donald Pleasence played the character it's iconic. If you guys have never seen any of these movies, for the portrayal of Dr. Loomis by Donald Pleasence alone is enough of a reason for you guys to check it out. So pretty much Dr. Loomis usually is trying to stop Michael Myers because he knows what Michael is capable of. And they touch on this in the sequel, Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. But he basically has studied Michael Myers, so he knows that this young man is basically pure evil, and he knows that Michael is waiting to get out and kill again. So he basically tries to persuade the people at the prison that Michael Myers needs to be transferred to a maximum security facility for the rest of his days. He should never be in a minimum security. He shouldn't go to a psychiatric hospital. He should be in a maximum security, never allowed to see the light of day again. For whatever reason, the people in charge don't listen to him. So that night, as Dr. Loomis predicts, he gets to the sanitarium, Smith's Grove Sanitarium, and Michael Myers and a bunch of the other patients there are all walking the yard. They've all gotten out. And pretty much at this point, Dr. Loomis is in the car, and Michael Myers basically jumps on top of the car and gets Loomis out of the car, and he's able to get in the car and just drive off. And Dr. Loomis automatically knows, okay, he's going to Haddonfield. He's going to kill. He's going to cause chaos because this is like the night before Halloween, and there's something about that day with Michael Myers where he just does what he does. So pretty much Myers is able to escape and head back to the old Myers house, which is where he committed the murder on his sister. So Dr. Loomis is pretty much trying to get to Haddonfield and figure out how to put an end to this. So then we meet our heroine, Laurie Strode, our eventual final girl, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, and I think this is probably her strongest performance as the character. There's so much to say. She was a rookie at the time in the acting game, and she brought her A game in this. I think Laurie Strode is one of the best final girls out there, and she's my personal favorite. But I saved that for another video, another day. So pretty much, we get introduced to Laurie. We get introduced to her friend Annie Brackett, who is the sheriff's daughter, Sheriff Lee Brackett. And we're introduced to Linda, who's also another friend of Laurie and Annie. So pretty much, we get to them at school, and you know what? Let me go back a little bit. Laurie actually had to go drop off a key to the Myers place, and Michael Myers at this time had gotten back to the house. So Laurie, for whatever reason, Michael sees Laurie drop off the key or whatever she had to drop off. So from this specific moment, Michael, I guess it's implied he has some kind of infatuation with Laurie, or maybe he's just intrigued by her. They never really explain, but for whatever reason, Michael Myers starts to stalk Laurie. So we literally see Laurie has dropped the key off. She's on her way to school, and Michael comes out of the house and is pretty much staring at her. And one of the things this movie does really good that adds an element of horror and, sheer terror is when we see Michael Myers most of the time in this film, and he has the iconic mask on, you can hear the breathing of Michael Myers. And there's something about this that makes Michael's presence known whenever he takes the screen. Because, like I said, it's almost like he's everywhere. You can hear his breathing, and it's kind of creepy, if I'm not going to lie. So Michael starts to stalk Laurie. First, he sees her after she leaves the Myers house, after she's dropped the key off. Then Laurie ends up going to school, and Michael Myers, there's that scene of Laurie in class, and she looks outside, and Michael Myers is standing there. Then there's, when they get out of school, she's walking home with Annie and Linda, and for whatever reason, Linda goes off to do something else. I think go to her house or something like that. And pretty much there's the scene where Michael is standing right behind the hedges, and it's terrifying. It's in broad daylight, and Laurie is the only one who sees him. Annie doesn't see him. So when Laurie does let Annie know, like, hey, there's a weird guy standing over there, by the time Annie looks, he's gone. She goes to the bushes to investigate. Michael's gone by this point. Then here's the scariest scene for me in the daytime of this film is Laurie gets into her house, and she's alone, and she pretty much looks outside of the window, and Michael is literally standing right there in broad daylight in between like the laundry sheets. And it's a scary scene to just see him standing there, and then all of a sudden she looks again and he's gone, and it's just creepy. And this is the direction of John Carpenter. This movie is brilliant, and you can see that this movie was the movie that spawned like the Friday the 13th films, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play, Scream. There's so many slashers that this movie right here opened the door for. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit. We get to nighttime, and this is where things start to really take a turn. Dr. Loomis is still hunting. At this point, he's already teamed up with Sheriff Brackett, but he's hunting Michael Myers, and he's trying to urge the people not to cause a panic. Like, let's try to take care of this without it being a panic. I can't remember if it's Dr. Loomis who does that or if it's Sheriff Brackett. One of them doesn't want to cause a panic. I think it might be Sheriff Brackett. So pretty much Michael Myers pretty much starts to hunt down Laurie Strode for whatever reason. He starts by taking out Annie. Annie is babysitting another little girl, and pretty much she goes outside into her car, and Michael is behind the he's in the driver's side in the back seat. He strangles Annie to death. Then we fast forward a little. Oh, no. So then Michael is pretty much carrying Annie's body after she's been, killed by him. And a little boy that Laurie is babysitting named Tommy Doyle catches a glimpse of Michael walking with Annie's body and tries to warn Laurie, like, hey, the boogeyman is out there. And she's like, oh, this is a little kid. He's, figment of his imagination. So Tommy pretty much has seen the threat. Laurie has not. She's seen Michael, but she just thought it was somebody playing a prank earlier, whatever. So at this point, Michael, I guess, places Annie's body somewhere, and then we fast forward to Linda with her boyfriend Bob, and they're just, have just made love and all that. So pretty much she tells Bob to go downstairs and get her a beer. So Bob gets dressed, goes downstairs, and Michael jumps out of the closet. And this is I think the kill of the movie for me. He pretty much lifts Bob off of the ground with one hand and stabs him right through, with the other hand, and pretty much impales him to the wall. And I think this is one of the sickest kills in any horror movie. Definitely, I think the best one in this film. So pretty much then Michael comes upstairs where Linda is, laying in the bed, and he has a sheet over his body, and with the glasses over the sheet, Bob's glasses. So Linda thinks it's Bob, and pretty much she's clowning around with him. She doesn't know what's going on. So Linda actually goes to call Laurie. And as she's on the phone talking to Laurie, Michael comes up from behind her. The sheet comes off and strangles her with the phone cord. And it's just a terrifying scene. And then Michael grabs the phone, and you can just hear him breathing into the phone. And Laurie is kind of a little freaked out at this point because she doesn't know what's going on. So for whatever reason, Laurie decides to go across the street and see what's going on. She comes across Linda's body. She comes across Annie's body. And I can't remember if it's Linda. I think it's Annie. I don't remember, guys. It's been a little bit since I've seen this movie. She pretty much sees, it's either Linda or it's Annie, but I think it's Annie. Michael has taken his sister's headstone and placed it on the bed, and Annie's body is in front of it. So Laurie is freaked out at this point. Then Bob's body comes swinging from the door, and at this point she's freaked out. She's scared. She's shrieking in terror, and she's standing in front of the door. And I love the way this movie is shot because it's so dark in the house, and you automatically just see Laurie standing in front of the door, and you see the silhouette of Michael Myers light up in between the door. You see half of the mask. Michael steps out from the room with a knife and just slashes Laurie in the arm. Laurie falls over the banister onto her back, and that's when the little cat and mouse music starts to come on. We're into these iconic chases that happen in just about every Halloween movie. So Laurie's trying to get out of the house. She manages to break the window and get out of the door. So Michael is constantly chasing her. She's screaming. I'm surprised the whole neighborhood doesn't hear her at this point. She gets in. She's knocking on Tommy's door, and pretty much she realizes that she left the key in the house. So Tommy wakes up, turns the light on, and comes downstairs to let her in. And she's just barely able to get in before Michael can get at her. So she locks the door, tells Tommy to run upstairs. The little girl, Lindsay, who Annie was watching, is there at this point too. So now Laurie has to protect herself and these two young kids. So there's an open window pretty much. So I guess the movie implies that Michael was able to get in through the window. It doesn't show it happen. And Laurie is able to grab what Michael basically stabs at Laurie because she's on the couch or behind the couch. And Michael stabs at Laurie, and he misses for a reason. She's able to grab some knitting needles and stab him, I believe, in the neck. So then Tommy is aware to what's going on. The boogeyman is real, pretty much. And so Lindsay and Tommy are upstairs, and Laurie gets up the stairs, and Tommy's asking, oh, what happened to the boogeyman? And she's like, oh, I killed him. And he's like, oh, you can't kill the boogeyman. And all of a sudden, then we see Michael Myers standing right there, breathing again in the mask. So she locks Tommy and Lindsay into another room, and Michael proceeds to chase her. She hides in the closet, And it's that iconic scene where Michael busts through the closet door with the knife and he's trying to get at her. And Laurie's able to grab a clothes hanger and wire it and poke him in the eye with it. So once again, she thinks that, he's incapacitated. She goes to Lindsay and Tommy and tells him to run, call the police, get help because, all hell has broken loose. And at this time, Dr. Loomis happens to see the kids running and screaming in terror and sees the car that Michael Myers had stolen the night before from him. So he's able to put two and two together and realize, okay, Michael Myers is in this house causing havoc. So at this same time, Laurie thinks that she's incapacitated Michael Myers, and he rises almost like from the grave, pretty much. He wasn't dead, but just like that Frankenstein-esque rise, pretty much. And he proceeds to choke Laurie out, and Laurie's actually able to knock a little bit of his mask off, and we get to see a little bit of his face. It's kind of hidden in a silhouette, basically. So Dr. Loomis gets there just in time, shoots Michael one time, and knocks him into another room, shoots him 5 more times, so 6 times total. And the final shot actually knocks Michael over the balcony, over the banister, into the backyard, and Michael falls onto the ground. And at this time, this is, to me, guys, one of the most iconic scenes in all of horror history. So pretty much what happens is Dr. Loomis goes to look over the banister and see that Michael Myers has been knocked down in a hail of gunfire. And Laurie just asked Dr. Loomis, was that the boogeyman? And Dr. Loomis proceeds to say, as a matter of fact, it was. And after he says this line, he goes back into the room to check and see if Michael Myers is still laying on in the backyard. And Michael Myers is nowhere to be found. And all of a sudden, as soon as he looks over, you just see this terrified look in Dr. Loomis's face. And pretty much, as soon as he looks over the banister and sees he's not there, the Halloween theme is playing. And then we get those iconic shots of the stairway, 2 of the other houses, where he killed Bob. We get all these shots of all these things we've seen, and then every single shot is going take by take, and we hear Michael breathing. And I think what John Carpenter was trying to say with this scene is that Michael could be anywhere at this point. We don't know where he is. He could be anywhere. It's a scary scene. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. And Halloween isn't scary, like the most terrifying movie. There's going to be movies out there that are a lot scarier than Halloween, but it's terrifying because it's uneasy, because it's not like, the later Friday the 13th movies where Jason comes back from the dead and is a zombie and, can't really die. This is like a normal man, just evil personified. It's almost like if evil took the form of a man, pretty much. And that's what's so terrifying about it, because Haddonfield, Illinois is a fictional town in the Halloween franchise. However, it's in the suburbs. This could happen anywhere. This could happen in any suburban town. And I think that's what makes Halloween so scary, is that it's not intended to be, yes, there's supernatural elements to Michael Myers, but it's not implied to be demonic. It's not implied to be the supernatural, superhuman. It's just a man personifying evil who kills for no apparent reason. And this could happen in any town. And this movie is iconic from start to finish. I mean, the Halloween theme alone is one of the most iconic scores in all of film history. The Michael Myers mask, which is actually a Star Trek William Shatner mask, just painted white. The portrayal of Michael Myers, just the way he moves, the things he does. And that's why I think this movie is probably, if my big 5 for horror is going to be Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Child's Play, and Scream. And the reason why I think Halloween is the best origin story of all of the other ones is just because it's so simple, but there's so many things about it's almost like there's more characters in Halloween than there is in other franchises. And let me explain that. It's like you have the Michael Myers character, and the plot is based around Michael Myers, but there's also a plot happening around, you know, our protagonist, Dr. Loomis, and our other protagonist, Laurie Strode. So while we're basically seeing Halloween from like three different perspectives. We're seeing it from really four, if you think about it. We're seeing it from Laurie's perspective. We're seeing it from Dr. Loomis's perspective. We're seeing it from the perspective of the counselor. I mean, not the counselors. That's Friday the 13th. From her friends, the teenagers that are being killed off. And we're seeing it from Michael's perspective. And it's almost like Haddonfield itself, and even the Halloween theme, it's like these are actual characters. So, guys, if you have never seen Halloween, if you've never seen any Michael Myers film, or if you're looking for a reason to get into horror, it doesn't have to be around Halloween, the actual day, you know, October 31st. This is a movie I could watch any day of the year. This movie is good. It's iconic. John Carpenter, hats off to you, sir. I think you created a franchise and a character that I think will live on past all of us, honestly. I think 50 years from now, they'll still be making Halloweens, whether they're reboots or whatever. But this movie is awesome, you guys. If you've never seen it, I suggest you guys give it a chance. It was directed and came out in 1978. It was shot on a low budget, and it made millions of dollars. It's an awesome movie. To me, all movies have flaws, no matter how perfect we think they are. But to me, this is almost a nearly flawless horror movie. So you guys, thanks again for checking out this video. I know I get really excited when I talk about the movies that are, you know, close to me. And I think you guys should check them out, honestly, because these movies that I talk about the good and the bad. But most of the movies that I'm going to be talking about, they mean something to me and the people who are around me and some of my friends. So you guys, thanks for watching this video. If there's other videos you would like me to talk about, other movies, just let me know. I'm going to link my Facebook to some of my videos, my Instagram as well. And you guys can just hit me. This is the first video I did where somebody actually requested it, even if it was, you know, some of my friends. So I want you guys to know, like, I'm willing to put out content that you guys want to see. If you really want me to talk about a movie, I will. Even if I think it's a bad movie, I will watch a movie if you guys really want me to talk about a specific movie you want me to watch. So as I say always at the end of my videos, guys, like, comment, share, subscribe. Don't be afraid to reach out to me in the comment section and let me know, are there other movies you want me to talk about? Do you agree with my opinion? Is Halloween one of the best horror movies in you guys' opinion? Feel free to disagree with me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one when I talk about Halloween Part 2, released in 1981. Thanks again, you guys.